Welcome to Moscow, the imposing cosmopolitan capital of Russia. The country's history and art stand side by side on every corner. Remnants of a Soviet communist era remain, while today's Russia is rich in culture and confidence. Formula E's race cars provide a modern echo on these historic streets. The racetrack, on the banks of the river Moskva and on the edge of the fortified Kremlin, built in 1485. The dazzling St. Basil's Cathedral and iconic Red Square provide the race with a beautiful theatrical backdrop, as one of the world's most influential nations has its say on the championship's destination.
Free practice 2 coming up here in Moscow ahead of the 9th round of the FIA Formula E Championship. It's a stunning venue, St. Basil's Cathedral in the background there, the walls of the Kremlin on the left-hand side, Red Square through the gap in between them. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me in the commentary box is Dario Franchitti. We've got Nicky Shields down in the pit lane as we look at the run down towards turn 1. That's the final corner, then they come down towards us. You can see the business district in the background, some of the tallest skyscrapers in Europe involved back there. And it really is a stunning location for a race. And a very interesting track as well, Dario. It's 2.3 kilometers long, 13 corners and a lot of bumps.
Lots of bumps, yeah, definitely. It's got two different distinct parts to it. The two long straights there, into turn 1, out of turn 1, up to 2. And then you have this 3, 4, 5, one long corner really, up the hill through 6. Really bumpy and quite an incline up there. Bumpy all the way to the chicane there in 7, 8, 9. Very bumpy on the braking there. We'll see guys have issues there all day. Downhill now, past St. Basil's, which I never thought I'd say about a racing track. Very bumpy again. Final kink, turn 10. As you come into there, you're braking for the hairpin already, and it's again very bumpy. Then 2 classic hairpins to finish off the lap. It's really a good wee track.
And there is the chicane at Gostiny Dvor, and we saw Loic Duval crash there in free practice 1. He just did the front wing and the nose. That was all that was the damage on Loic Duval's car, so he should be out and fine. The sun is starting to come out here in Moscow. 19 degrees the air temperature, 29 degrees the track temperature. Humidity at just 46%, so it's perfect conditions really for racing, and no doubt over the next couple of hours before the racing gets underway, in terms of qualifying and the race itself, the temperature will increase a little bit more as well. There is the bridge that stretches over the river, and there are some fans who have made their way out for the second free practice session, just 30 minutes long. There's Justin Wilson, a newcomer to the series this season, and chatting to him after free practice 1, and he says, yeah, it's pretty good fun, this car.
Yeah, he was very enthused by it, wasn't he? He was talking about the track, and as he says, you know, the car doesn't have anywhere near the power of the Indy car he's used to driving, but he said everything's in scale. The track is in scale for the performance of the car. So, but a much tighter track. The handling of the car, he said, you know, it handles very much like a normal racing car. It tells you, it telegraphs as well what it's going to do when it starts to slide. And yeah, he's a happy boy.
Not been out on the full 200 kilowatts of qualifying power yet though, Wilson, so that'll be something he'll be experiencing in this second free practice session. There's Karun Chandok, who finished 11th in free practice 1. His teammate Bruno Senna was the quickest of the guys, running at 150 kilowatts of power, so Chandok will be hoping to get and match that sort of pace. Still, Chandok's best qualifying performance of the season so far was the opening round in Beijing, where he stuck it 4th on the grid. Since then, he's had a couple of 9ths and an 8th place as well, but yet to match that Beijing success.
You know, we've said it before. The Mahindra guys have really been the disappointment with Carling running those cars. Great team, 2 good drivers, and it just hasn't really clicked yet. And it would be great, I think, obviously for the team, great for the championship too, to see those guys really fulfill their potential here.
Absolutely. There's the run out of the chicane. Free practice 2 is underway here in Moscow. The clock starts ticking, and immediately everyone gets out onto the circuit, especially Sam Bird, who lost a wheel in free practice 1. As a result, only completed 6 laps of the course, and so it's going to be a challenge. You've actually completed more laps of this track than Sam Bird now, so he's going to be desperate to get out on circuit and and learn his way around this track, while everyone else will be more fine-tuning their setups and their performance as they head through turn 1 and then up towards turn 2. Big old crest here.
The car really goes light over that crest. You lose the front tyres. First of all, you can see the right front there becoming light, and then the rear gets light as well. Then we're into the 3, 4, 5. This corner is actually blind on entry. That wall there makes it blind. Then you're going through turn 4, more a traditional, normal corner, starting to accelerate up through 5 into 6. Unbelievably bumpy up here, and steeper hill than it shows on TV. And there's the incident, the scene of the incident from Duval earlier. He sort of locked up on the way in and just kept going, didn't he? He just rode it out. I thought he'd have got off and used the shortcut.
There are the 2 Abt cars going through. Daniel Abt followed by Lucas de Grassi. Then he out into this left kink.
Big bump right as you turn in there, as you see, right where you don't want it. And it makes it pretty interesting. And then as they disappear from shot there, they're already braking for this hairpin. Very easy to overshoot that.
And there's Chanduk gunning it on his outlap, but he's going to run up behind one of the Abt cars as they now all back off and then head out onto the circuit once again as Tonio Liuzzi joins the party. Everyone out now except Antonio Felix da Costa. And it's Sebastian Buemi who's the first man on the circuit up into 2.
Now, these e.dams cars have an advantage every practice session. They're heading out there and they've got a clear track for a couple of laps. And as you see, the rest of them are sort of back in there with the concertina effect of traffic. Look how Buemi's pushing there up through that 5-6 area. You see the bumps here. Watch him as he brakes. Watch the rear of the car stepping. Oh, nicely controlled. He took maximum curb it, didn't he? Much more of that, and he was going to bottom the tub on the curb, and we've seen the result of that. Generally ends up with a meeting with the outside wall.
Yeah, that's what happened to Loic Duval in free practice 1. So Buemi on the brakes now for the hairpin. Gets that tidied in nicely.
This next hairpin's kind of deceptive. You've got the first apex, and it just keeps going on and tightens up on you on the exit. And that exit wall comes into view in a hurry, should I say.
So Buemi does a 1:13.3, the fastest 150 kilowatt lap we've seen today. It was a 12.5. As we see, so is that a battery change going on down at Amlin Aguri? So that's Antonio Felix da Costa, who looks like he needs a battery change, and that is not good news at all for the Amlin squad.
That's not the work of a moment, is it?
And that is Karun Chanduk at the hairpin again. Yes, that's the second time today he's ended up facing the other way at the hairpin.
Now's the time to find the limit.
Yeah.
You don't want to be doing that in the race, obviously. The funny thing with that hairpin, you have to take your hands off the wheel. It's very difficult to get through there. Oh, there you go, lock the rears. If he'd have just kept the foot in there and did a big long slide, that'd have got massive style points, wouldn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Not massive tyre wear points, though.
23.0.
That's Nelson Piquet Jr.'s team radio as he wrestles with the rear end of his car coming into the chicane.
Already in this session, I'm seeing them getting braver with the inside curb at that chicane. If you noticed before, there was always a sort of about 10 centimetres between the top of the curb and the car. Oh, look at that.
That was the rears locking, wasn't it?
Look, one big slide. That's his rallycross experience.
Those are the style points. That's where you get the style points.
Piquet gets style points. But yeah, they're starting to be more aggressive already, taking more and more liberties with the curbs, and it's a very fine line.
Piquet goes second quickest, a 1:13.223. Still a tenth or so down on Sebastian Buemi, but Nick Heidfeldt's just gone fastest of anyone in the first sector, a 22.5. So Heidfeldt is actually on a full 200 kilowatt power lap. And here he comes now into that's Stefan Sarazan, actually. So that's Sarazan coming through the final turn, but soon Nick Heidfeldt will be coming through. That's a full power lap from Sarazan too, actually. He does an 11.9. The quickest time we've seen is a 10.4. Let's see what Heidfeldt can do. He's in the fastest middle sector as well as the German in the Venturi car.
2 tenths up over the whole lap so far.
And he goes quickest, the 1:11.157.
8 tenths.
But that's still 6 tenths slower than we saw, 7 tenths slower than we saw in free practice 1. So good lap from Heidfeldt, but at the moment the e.dams boys are still holding the claim for being the quickest man out there after that first free practice session. They come up through that left and then the right. Is this flat out up here, or?
Yeah, right. It is. It is there. Once you get the confidence over the bumps, off you go. Makes quite a difference, because that incline, if you can just gain a few miles an hour at the bottom of the hill and carry it all the way up, trust me, there's lap time by the bucket load there.
Nico
Cross bouncing through there.
Yeah, That's through turn 1. Oh, here's someone's... Yeah, that's one of the Dragon cars locking up and going straight on.
Turn 1 is quick because it's so wide an entry, so wide an exit that you can carry quite a lot of speed through there. It's third gear at least.
Yellow flags. Oh, and it's Duval again, and he's gone in the wall again. Oh. And he's shaking his head because he cannot believe it. And the red flags are out. The 2013 Le Mans winner.
Jay Penske's going to be shaking his head because that's the second wing today. How many wings have they got for that thing?
That's very true, and well,
it's so unlike him.
Yeah,
look, he's not a driver who makes mistakes. You know, hence the fact he's won Le Mans. He's not. He's a safe pair of hands. I don't know if they've got a problem with the braking in that car or what. But as you say, shaking his head.
I think he's saying, "Can I come back on my own to the pits?"
He's clearly got drive.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Try to make your way back.
Did he get... the left front's knackered. He's damaged the left front, so he's not... Yeah, look, he's done a lot of damage to that left front suspension this time.
And there is the shake of the head from Jay Penske. And
I tell you what, a team owner's job is a thankless one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, not good news there for Duval. Yeah, you can see the suspension's arms folded up. Here's a look at the replay. You'll see him just go straight on in the background. There he goes. And... yeah, difficult to tell exactly what happened, but
it almost looks again like he thought half about doing aborting the corner and then just continued in. That's the worst thing you can do. Yeah. He's just sort of half. If you think there's a problem, most times it's better just to use the escape road and spin around.
So the red flag out here in Moscow in this second free practice session ahead of qualifying later on. But the good news is for Dragon that, and for Loic Duval, is that he can just qualify in the other car while they fix the car that he's just put in the wall.
Bad news being there's only 22 minutes left of the session. The time's running out and not many cars have been allowed.
So the Dragon team get to work on Jerome D'Ambrosio's car. Race winner last time out. A fantastic performance from the Dragon team in Berlin.
They wouldn't be taking that front wing off one of his cars to give to Loic, would they? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know, parts are, you only carry so many spare noses.
So at the moment, just the two Venturi cars have done full-on quick laps out there on the full 200 kilowatts of power. A 12.5 was the quickest 150 lap we saw this morning, and Lucas Di Grassi has done a 12.7 now. So he's got reasonably close to that lap time that was set by Bruno Senna, but we were only some 5 minutes into the session, really, when that lap was set. There's Nick Heidfeld, quickest man of anyone at the moment in this session so far, but not the quickest time we've seen so far today. Heidfeld picking up a strong result in Berlin. It was a 5th position, his best result of the season so far, astonishingly. So let's have a look at the championship standings as we are under the red flag conditions. This is how the championship is shaping up with just 3 rounds to go. 90 points on offer though still. Nelson Piquet leading Sebastian Buemi by just 3 points. Then it's 10 points from Piquet to Di Grassi in 3rd. And then Nico Prost in 4th place, a bit of an outsider considering Buemi's only 2 points off the championship lead, and that's his teammate. So Jerome D'Ambrosio really is the only dark horse because Dragon have got pace at the moment, whereas Sam Byrne, Antonio Felix da Costa, they seem to be struggling a little more. In fact, da Costa's not really in the title fight, but it's crazy. We've got 90 points still up to play for. There is Loic Duval in 11th place in his 5th Formula E race. He's already outscored Daniel Abt, who's had great qualifying performances so far this season, including a pole at Long Beach, but hasn't been able to put it all together when the races come together. Scott Speed there in 13th place, still those 18 points from Miami. And there you can see Nick Heidfeld. He's led 3 or 4 races this season, but he's 18th in the standings overall. Let's hear from Oriol Servia, and let's see if we can find out why Loic Duval has been off the road a couple of times. He's with Nicky.
So Oriol Servia, it looks like Loic Duval has come into problems again. Is there any kind of issue with the car?
No problems. We're just trying to win this thing, and you know, to win it you gotta try hard, and he's doing a great job. It's just trying. I think it was maybe a little too early, bottom a little and on the braking and just went straight. It's okay. We're gonna get it ready for qualifying.
So just a consequence of pushing too hard?
I think so. I mean, he's not back yet. I'm just assuming. I think, you know, everything was fine. It was the other car, so it was not the car he crashed earlier. So it's not like he had a problem or anything. It's just, you know, it's tough. Street racing, you know, there's not much room for mistakes, and at the same time, you need to find the limit. So I think he's found the limit at that corner now.
Thanks very much.
Well, that's 2 of the corners he's found the limit at. How many have they got enough front wings for him to find the limit at all of them?
I love Oriol's sense of humour in that situation. And, you know, the good thing about Oriol, still driving, he realises, you know, anybody can make a mistake. And that's the point, to find the limit and to find an advantage, you've got to push it. And that sometimes happens. Interesting, he said thought it would bottom out. They must be running the Dragon cars pretty low at the deck.
Yeah, that's interesting. But no, Oriol Servia started the season in the Dragon car, and he did Indy 500 just a couple of weeks ago.
Did a good job, actually. Typical Oriol, nice job. Got in there at last minute and got a result out of the thing.
It's his first IndyCar appearance of the season, as the cars head back out onto the circuit as the green flag is waved. And they'll be, with 18 minutes to go, desperate to put in their full 200 power laps, because it becomes a pretty different beast at that point. And that could be something that Duval was doing. Maybe he'd just turned it up to 200 and was caught out at the first corner by the kind of power that he had, the extra speed he was carrying into the turn as the cars all crest the hill on the way to a square.
Yeah, that's something the driver said, especially early in the year, when they went to 200, they arrived at the corner so much quicker that it would catch them out, and that was, a lot of times, that was the first time they'd done that. Now they've got this sort of whole way of doing practice that allows them to have a simulation of the full 200. But yeah, they said, you know, you come up there, first time you're arriving 20 k's quicker at least. That's what he says here.
They don't usually recover it. You're on the outside.
Talking about recovery.
Yeah, I think they were saying, are we going to get the car back before qualifying? And they were saying, I doubt it, because he was on the outside of the circuit at
right. They're probably talking about the end of practice, right? Or
yeah,
surely they'll get it back before qualifying. Whether they'll get the car ready, and some of the power units are better than others, and the guys definitely have favoured cars because one maybe runs slightly cooler, and that therefore gives a bit more power.
So you can see on the left-hand tower here the kilowatts of power that these guys are running. So Jean-Eric Vergne's on 150 at the moment, and as soon as they go up to 200, we'll be able to see it from now on, which is great news. As we see Nico Prost, the numbers will go green if they are going essentially above 155, I think is the limit. So if they're anything towards 200, then the numbers will go green on the left-hand side. Meanwhile, Nico Prost is about to come through the second sector, 1.3 seconds down on Nick Heidfeld, but that's to be expected at the moment because he's on 150
Very
power.
tidy through there. In the background, you can see Buemi using a fair chunk of the curb.
I think you could hear him using a fair chunk of the curb
Yes,
as well.
you could.
Prost didn't quite, just kind of tried to snap away from him as he came into the braking for the hairpin there at turn 11. Now into the final corner, Prost, and across the line, and he remains 8th quickest out there at the moment, with the Buemi behind him. Then through comes D'Ambrosio, then Jean-Eric Vergne, who goes 3rd quickest at 12.6. That's a good lap from Jean-Eric Vergne on 150 power.
Yeah, that was a good lap, wasn't it? Justin Wilson, his teammate right now, P19, done 6 laps. Oh, Sam Bird actually getting some laps.
On board we go with Sam Bird then.
Okay, here we come over the start-finish line. Down this wide boulevard into turn 1 here. Quite a quick corner. Look how wide it is on entry, how wide an exit. He's way on the power, way before the apex. Coming up to turn 2 here. Watch the hill, you'll see it start to crest. Makes it very difficult for braking. And there we go. Typical sort of 90 right. Missed the apex by quite a bit. Blind corner here, turn 3. Big drop off there. And we lost the camera. Turn 4, 5. Up this hill now. Flat out in 6. Even at 200 it's flat out. Listen to those bumps. He's about to get traffic here. Coming into this chicane. Very difficult to brake because you're turning at the same time. Very bumpy. Look how much curb he's going to use. Missed the apex a little bit on the right. Haven't held him up. He now lets him through. 2 kinks. This kink's flat out, very bumpy. Then you brake just about the apex. There you go. Difficult to slow the car down here. Hairpin left. And then hairpin right to end the lap. Look how this corner tightens up.
3, 2, 1, now.
What he's doing there, when he said 3, 2, 1 now, they're timing how long it takes for a pit stop.
Yeah.
The whole length of pit lane, because obviously the rules.
They have a minimum pit stop time of 58 seconds, so that's so they can try and work it out.
It's a little out of breath there, Sam.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was interesting. Stefan Sarazan has just gone very quick, a 1 minute 10.7, which is a pretty rapid pace, 3/10 slower than Buemi managed this morning. So he's gone back out for another go at the full 200, but Piquet now has done a 10.561. Slightly slower than Buemi, but a very quick lap nevertheless from Nelson Piquet. So we're starting to see the qualifying simulations coming true.
And that was Sarazan's second lap at 200 kilowatts.
Yeah.
Piquet's looking like his first. Let's see what he can do on the second lap, see if he manages to pick it up. He's going to do obviously a cool down lap at 150.
Let's see what Lucas de Grassi can do as well. What was his first sector time like? A 22.4, so decent first sector from de Grassi. What are we going to be looking at in the middle sector? The rear of the car looks so lively, and he's fractionally up on Piquet at the moment. Now out into 10.
You can hear it. You hear that heat in the ground.
You hear it scraping as well,
nice
can't you?
through there. That will look really good through there.
Through the final corner now comes Lucas de Grassi. Are we going to see him going quickest of anyone? Across the line he comes. Yes, a 1 minute 10.390. Really strong lap from de Grassi.
P1, P1.
That was a strong lap, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he's been told that he was P1. And the competitiveness of this field is astonishing, and we've been saying that all year. But Justin Wilson was saying he really found it this morning, because he did a lap and they went, oh, you're P6, and he went, oh, that's not bad. Came around again and they said, oh, you're P18. It's like, what? How did that happen?
I used to hate when that happened. Piquet 10.5.
Yeah, so I think Piquet now is doing another full power lap, and you can see he's doing 200 kilowatts. If you look at the number to the right of Piquet there, he's running at full power, coming down into the left-hander of turn number 1.
Oh, big oversteer through turn 1. That's a quick corner to be doing that.
Yeah.
That's how lively he gets here in 2. 1.5 tenths up so far through that first split.
Into Sturaya Square, running the curbs on the inside of 3, then into 4, and then one more little left-hander. Whoa, goodness me!
That might be the little, and again, and again. That shows me they're running the cars really oversteering. Look at it snapping around there.
Absolutely. He's still a 10.5 up, though, on Lucas de Grassi. This is a brilliant lap from Nelson Piquet as he now comes into the left-hander of turn 10.
This should be interesting through here, trying to stop it. You just want to applaud him just for, just exuberance behind the wheel. It's awesome to see that much sliding around and oversteer.
It's great to watch Piquet drive, isn't it, as he comes into the final corner now and across the line. What's this going to be for Piquet? It's quickest, a 1 minute 10.257, a 10.5 quicker than his championship rival, Lucas de Grassi. Really strong lap from Piquet.
I think there's a bit of needle going on between those two, isn't there? They're starting to kind of get into each other's head a little bit.
Box.
And Piquet's been told to come into the pits. And let's have a look at this again, shall we?
That was exciting enough.
But this was the cool bit.
I watched it through the next right as well at turn 6. That was a nice drift there.
Great stuff. Now this is him. Oh, he clipped the final corner. I didn't spot that.
I didn't see that either. I think they moved the camera before that. But yeah, that'll be a new tie rod on the rear, because that definitely caught the wheel rather than the bodywork.
Yeah. So Piquet, the quickest man of anyone. De Grassi might go quicker than him, though, because he's just done a purple in the middle sector. So Lucas de Grassi now about to come across the line. Let's see what sort of lap time he can do. This is Justin Wilson on an out lap at the moment, but de Grassi is about to go quicker than Nelson Piquet, or it's certainly going to be very tight.
It'd be nice to see him.
As Wilson
chicane
comes around Sturaya Square. Still on his out lap at the moment. But Piquet quickest on a 10.2, and de Grassi came into the pits then. So he was looking quick, and then he came into the pits.
That's confidence.
There he is. So I just wonder, do you do that to sort of not show your hand at any point? You go, well, this is a quick lap, but I don't want anyone to know I'm quick.
Yeah. There's probably, because there's 10 minutes left, they're like, look, we've got to get on with this. We know we're quick.
Yeah.
And he literally missed one corner. Here goes Justin. Now, do you think Justin's, we'll see if he's at 200 here in a second.
He has done a 200 lap. and is half a second off Nelson Piquet as he comes through now, down towards the final corner.
He's still at 150 on this one. Look how wide it is. Is that bump right where you don't want it, right at the apex there? Out onto the wide boulevard and heading off to turn 1. Look how minimal braking, and then back to the power quite early. It's just so wide on the way in. Bit of understeer there. Lots of these boards, it seems to take quite a while.
Yeah.
And then braking up to turn 2 up the hill. Look at it get light. Very tidy through there. Setting himself up for ready for turn 3.
Through 3.
Over the curb in 4. 5, much tighter than Piquet was. And watch the bumps here as it crests over, yeah. Coming up. Getting your line right to brake as straight as possible into the chicane. Very tight. Use the load of curb.
He's now a couple of seconds down on Piquet's time, but he isn't running at the full 200 kilowatts of power.
You're almost braking straight at that wall, because the more straight you can brake, the less chance there is of that rear locking up and causing you the oversteer. There's some traffic ahead here. Oh, brilliant. That's just what you want to see, isn't it?
It's the Mahindra of Karun Chandok.
And there we go, 14-1. Is Karun on a big lap, do we think?
I don't know. He was certainly backing off to give himself some space, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Jean-Eric Verne is about to come across the line, and he goes quickest of anyone, a 1:10.212. Great lap from Jean-Eric Verne.
Very nice.
Quicker than Piquet, quicker than De Grassi, and it looks as though Andretti are back on form after 2 really difficult races in Monaco and Berlin. They're now quicker than that man, Lucas De Grassi.
All right, who's going to be the first into the 9s then?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? This is Sebastian Buemi, who's about to depart the pits. Is it going to be him?
That might answer a question.
11th quickest at the moment.
That's a tricky pit exit for him. He's got to almost do a hairpin out of that garage number 1 that he's got there. Somebody's cruising up ahead. You saw the white flag waving on the left.
Oh yeah, it's really slow actually. Is that Prost?
Is that an issue?
It looked like it might be his teammate Nico Prost to me. Prost is on his outlap, so maybe.
Karun is not, yeah, he's done personal best, but P9 11.2, second off. So that was probably a 200 lap.
Yeah.
But a bit of work to do there for the Mahindra boys, I would say. There goes Justin Wilson in the background, 13.3, so he's on 150.
Then down towards the first corner again. Wilson turns it in, and he is still on 150 for this lap as well as we go on board with him. Da Costa jumps up to 10th place on his 200 lap. Oh, goodness.
There you go, Justin.
Well, there's a bit of runoff there at least.
Just as well, yeah. I think he was going to go in the runoff, whatever shape it was there with that one. But again, finding the limits.
So now he'll back off a little as they come up through the right-hander, bouncing towards Gosling Dvor. Here it comes again. Was it just the right front? No,
right front started it. Yeah, it was really the right front. Just at that bit where it starts to go light, and there you saw it.
Here's the look on board again. Yeah.
When all that's happened, Nick Heidfeld's on a 10.6 P4.
Yeah, it's a good lap from Heidfeld. So the 2 Venturis are on 10.6 and 10.7 respectively. There's Nico Prost. So I think he's going to have one more flyer, as is his teammate Sebastian Buemi.
He's building up pace there, isn't he? Buemi's the one to watch, I think.
So keep an eye on the 15th place Prost. Well, there you can see he has turned it up to 200 now. So Prost is going to be going for it this time around. The man who has taken 2 pole positions so far this season and has qualified in the top 10 at every single race so far this year. His lowest performance has been a 7th place, and he is on the full power lap as he comes down towards turn 1.
He's kind of gone off the boil just a bit, hasn't he, in the series?
Well, since he won in Miami, which was sort of the breakthrough victory, because he'd been there or thereabouts the whole season. Since then, he's had a 14th, a 6th, and a 10th. So,
yeah,
ever since taking that breakthrough win, he's now not been able to get the points required.
That being said, he's up on the first split. It's looking quite good there.
Much neater and tidier than Piquet.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, my handwriting's neater and tidier than Piquet, and that's saying something.
Chandok might get in the way here.
Prost.
No, Karun's looking in his mirrors. Good man.
So what was the middle sector like for Nico Prost? He's down in
yeah, it's
16th place
best,
at the moment. Yeah, personal best, but
10th off the actual best, it looks like.
So into the final corner now comes Nico Prost, getting held up, I think, a little bit by Karun Chandok. Or if not held up, then at least
P6.
interfered with a little bit. And yeah, it's 6th place for Nico Prost. 6/10 down on Jean-Eric Verne.
He's not going to be happy with that.
Buemi is on a full power lap now. And he is currently well down the order in 15th place, but he's just done the best middle sector of anyone. So this is looking good for Sebastian Buemi. The Swiss racer is in the final sector of the course now. This is Jerome D'Ambrosio coming into the first corner. D'Ambrosio is on a 150 kilowatt lap at the moment, but now we're on board with Buemi into the final corner. Can he jump to the top of the times and dispose Jean-Eric Verne? Yes, he can. A 1 minute 9.985. He is the first man into the nines.
We called that one, Jack. That's a fair old chunk there.
Yeah, a quarter of a second quicker than Jean-Eric Verne. Antonio Felix da Costa goes 4th quickest for the Amlin Aguri team. Good lap from the Portuguese racer. 3/10 slower than Buemi, but up into 4th place.
Sam Bird's having another difficult session.
Yeah.
19.
Yeah, that's very true. We've got anyone else on there on full power at the moment? Through flashes Garcia. And we'll try and keep an eye on whether he's on a full speed flyer. This is Nick Heidfeld into turn 1. He's just on 150 at the moment, and that is Garcia going slowly on the circuit there.
Heidfeld's backed off, and one of the Amlin cars is going slow too.
Yeah, that's da Costa. So these guys have obviously done a full 200 and are now backing off to then do another full 200, as is the process in qualifying.
The tough part with that is if you're if you're at the back of the queue there like Heidfeld, you're screwed, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because they're online. Look at this.
Tony Liuzzi.
Yeah, Liuzzi's lap is just done. So, oh, there we go, D'Ambrosio. But there needs to be better discipline if these guys are going to do this. That drop off, you really see it from that camera angle.
Yeah.
In turn 3.
D'Ambrosio through Steraya Square and then out and up the hill. Oh, goodness me, throwing it through there. He's on full power.
You don't want to go offline, do you? Did you see the dust from Karun Chandok there?
What's D'Ambrosio got in the middle sector? 4/10 down after sector 1 and 2.
An odd line into the chicane there.
Oh. I can feel that from here, you know?
Oh, my back's thinking, ouch.
Through the hairpin. One more corner to go for Jerome D'Ambrosio. He's got an Amlin car up in front of him as he turns through the right-hander. Shouldn't affect him too much because it came into the pits, and it's 9th place for Jerome D'Ambrosio. 1 minute 10.775. So you can see the order there on the left-hand side. Buemi, Verne, Piquet, da Costa, de Grassi.
Garcia's on a full power lap now.
Yep. As is Bruno Senna. So Bruno Senna would be interesting because he's on 22.4 in sector 1, which is not bad. It's not great. It's a couple of tenths down on the quickest sector 1 we've had so far. Salvador Duran's on a full power lap as well as Buemi gets worked on. Now here's Nelson Piquet Jr. Let's have a look at him as he comes into the left-hander. Well, we've just lost the power signal at the moment, so I'm not sure what sort of lap this is on. Doesn't look like a full power one to me. No, it's not. So he comes into turn 1.
Garcia's done his personal best, not surprisingly, through the first couple.
50% region than this.
Not quite sure what Piquet meant by that. So we stay with the onboard coming through Steraya Square. And then back out again through this right-hander up the hill. We'll watch him bounce around up here.
11.5.
And then into the chicane. Then you'll see the Gostiny Dvor there on the left-hand side as we disappear away from it. The old market. Through the left-hander, we're going to get a glimpse of St Basil's. No, not... Oh, yes, there we go.
Look at the corrections that he's doing there. I don't know what that
Press the radio button accidentally, probably, while he's turning the wheel.
You might be right. Hear how hard he's working. He's breathing pretty hard there.
And across the line he comes. Karun Chandok was saying that it's hard to keep your thumb or finger
10.7
on the button when you're wrestling with the car so much.
Oh, absolutely. Some guys use the latch.
Okay.
They just hit it and then they can talk for a while, but a lot of teams don't like that because then the driver just leaves it latched and just starts ranting.
Checker flag is out. Justin Wilson crosses the line to finish the session, by the looks of it, in 11th place.
Not bad, is it?
No, 6/10 off his teammate Jean-Eric Verne. So that's not a bad effort from Justin Wilson.
Practicing a start there for him.
Checker flag falls for Nick Heidfeld too, who is 6th. So again, we've got a real mix of cars in the top, 6 positions. They're all different teams. That's how tight it is in Formula E. And, you know, obviously being with the right team and a good team is very important. No matter what championship you're in, maybe even more so in a single make series. But the driver can really make a difference here when you've got the top 6 with 6 different teams.
I think that's true in most championships now. As the teams all get better, there's not in most championships now. There's not such a thing as a fairly average or crappy team. They've all got to a point, and that they can do the job, and you're seeing that. And so every part of the puzzle has to be perfect. Driver, team, everything, and the margins are getting smaller and smaller.
So here's a little bit of a
Seeing that.
3 wide start.
Sam Bird is P20. Something's going on there. He's 1.7 seconds slower than the next car.
And he's done 13 laps as well. That's how we should do starts, 3 wide, like they used to do in the good old days.
They do it in Indy still.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Start, 3 wide, yeah. You don't want to be in the middle of 3 wide, 10 rows back. Trust me. Suddenly loses its fun factor.
Have you been there? You qualified there before?
Yeah, I did. My first time there. Oh. Last row. They have a party called the Last Row Party, and they give you something like a 30-cent check and then abuse you for about the next 20 hours.
Jaime Hakashimari about ready to head off, and less wheel spin for him that time. The starts in these cars seem easy in terms of straightforwardness, but you can still gain or lose a lot of the start if you get too much wheel spin. Sebastian Buemi then the quickest man of anyone at the end. Now this is interesting. Justin doing his driver change.
Let's see him fold himself into this. This is a hard bit for Justin.
It's like Mary Poppins' bag, isn't it? When you sort of peel him out. He's 6'4", Justin Wilson.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is it that tall?
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure who the second tallest driver.
It's not Sam Bird. It's not Sam Bird.
No, it's not Sam Bird.
It might be Jaime Alguersuari. He's pretty tall. He's probably the next one. Apart from that, I'm looking down the list here.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to get the stats out. We'll have to get Wikipediaing this.
Sam Bird's got to be close to a foot shorter than Justin.
Yeah.
And then there's the weight difference too, which they try and equalise it a bit, but there's still the weight distribution of the car.
Here are the results after free practice 2. The final chance for these guys to be on circuit without it being qualifying or the race here in Moscow. Sebastian Buemi, the quickest man of anyone, a 1:09.985, the only man to dip into the 9s. Jean-Eric Verne, second quickest for the Andretti team. Nelson Piquet, third. Then Antonio Felix da Costa in fourth for Amlin. Audi Sport Abt are in 5th position. It's 6th place for Nick Heidfeld. And actually, Karun Chandok jumped up to 7th in the end there, which means that the top 8 drivers all come from 8 different teams. That's absolutely astonishing. Justin Wilson in 11th place for Andretti, ahead of Daniel Abt. Then we've got Jarno Trulli, one of the teams not in the top 8. Then we've got Garcia down there. Senna down in 19th place, but we've already seen he does have pace to go quicker than that. And Sam Bird, he did 13 laps, which is only 3 less than Sebastian Buemi, but just not got the speed in that Virgin racing car at the moment. The 28-year-old from Roehampton, Sam Bird, 3rd at Macau 2009, 2nd in GP2, and at the moment 6th in the FIA Formula E Championship. The points there show that Nelson Piquet Jr. is 2 points clear of Sebastian Buemi. There's points up for grabs in the qualifying session. Lucas de Grassi 3rd in the standings, and it's those 3 really that are our 3 breakaway drivers going into the final 3 races and 2 weekends of the season. Look, Duval up in 11th place after 4 races in the championship so far. Picked up his first podium last time out in Berlin. Karun Chandok is in 15th spot in the standings. Nick Heidfeld down there in 18th. And Jarno Trulli is 20th. So let's hear from Jean-Eric Verne. He's with Nicky, and he finished 2nd in that free practice session.
Jean-Eric Vergne, you've shown some great pace over the course of the season, 2 pole positions. Do you think you could be on for a 3rd today?
Well, that's going to be the target. That's what we're aiming for. And so far the team has done a good job. So, you know, we need to keep performing and qualifying, and hopefully we're going to be there on top.
And are you feeling confident with the performance of the car?
Yeah, so far so good. I'm pretty happy with everything we've done so far today, and let's see how qualifying goes.
And how are you finding the bumps? Because it looks like it's rather bumpy out there.
I thought we were going to break the car in the first session, but it's okay. It's just extremely bumpy. There are some that are quite bad for the car, but it's okay.
Do you think you're going to need to respect your suspension?
Well, I hope. I don't know, yeah, in a way. In a way. I respect my car.
Thanks very much.
Jean-Eric then having a little chat again with the engineers after that. And yeah, he always respects his cars, I think.
As all drivers do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why he's laughing.
There's Nelson Piquet, 3rd quickest, but not looking over the moon at the moment.
I mean, at this point, it's all business, isn't it? You're discussing the intricacies of what's going on and trying to find any advantage you can. And to be honest, the mindset required, you've got to be so focused, and you can see he is.
I can drive us both. I can find a way.
And we just cut away from him there, but these are his slides. And are these, you know, are these by his design, do you think, or that's just how the car is behaving, and he wished it didn't?
I would say the car is set up a little too oversteering. He was understeering there and he flicked it sideways and as you can see, caught the wall. But they're looking at the list of drivers there and the times, but yeah, he doesn't want that. It's costing him time, especially with something as power limited as the FE car. You don't want to be sliding the thing as much as that. But they're just trying to find the sweet spot.
Especially on a street circuit. Piquet was having real troubles in Berlin with the rear of the car getting away from him. That was a kind of different situation because of the unusual nature of the circuit. But we've seen our first action this morning in front of the Kremlin. And it has been absolutely spectacular, really. And I'm really looking forward to the qualifying session, which will be coming up later on today. But first of all, let's have a little look back at that half-hour free practice 2 session ahead of round 9 of the championship. Lovely weather. Oh, goodness me. Sebastian Buemi almost taking out 2 pigeons there. Karun Chandok took out himself, going down into the hairpin. And that was the 2nd time he had a spin so far today. Nelson Piquet working hard at the wheel on his way to 3rd quickest in the end. Then we had Loic Duval going to the wall for the 2nd practice session in a row. Dunked it into the wall, and a shake of the head from Jay Penske, the boss of the Dragon team. Loic Duval jogged back, but it was to no avail. Daniel Abt asking the cameraman to move out of the way so he was able to get through. Lucas de Grassi bouncing over the bumps as he came into the chicane, and he ended the session 5th quickest. Justin Wilson had a bit of a lock-up coming up into the right-hander, but he was able to escape from that without too much damage done. Nelson Piquet was having a whale of a time, sliding the car around every single possible opportunity, and out of shape as he wrestled his way past St Basil's Cathedral and into the hairpin on the Bolshoi Bridge, and then tapping the wall on the exit there as well. So a real challenging run for Nelson Piquet, but he managed to be 3rd quickest. Jean-Eric Vergne was 2nd quickest, but the quickest man of all was Sebastian Buemi, the Swiss driver, a 1/4 of a second clear of the rest of the pack, and that is going to be a real warning for the rest of the field. And even Jean-Paul Driot not quite believing that he was able to go that quick. So we'll be back with qualifying in just a little over half an hour. There's less than an hour now for the teams to get ready ahead of what could be a crucial qualifying session that is going to be coming up later on. And we make sure you join us then for the qualifying session ahead of round 9 of the Formula E Championship.